I guess it's going, huh? It's going live. Okay, bobsledding on jealousy. You know what's going on? Poop 2, the sequel to Poop, the green stuff that comes out of your knees. Are we full blown digital wind? Digital winds them here. You gotta prepare yourself because digital winds is gonna take your legs right off if you're not ready for it. And it's all gonna be in 3D or 4 dimensions, words, 3D, digital wind. So I was going to actually start off by saying something real. It was something I said on a radio show, and it had to do with getting broken up with a woman that I've been with for about 6.5 years, and she's having a little turmoil towards me now because of my lack of resources, money and housing, whatever. They call that being a human loser at 31, to be in that situation. But, you know, world's fucked up and so is money, and shit like that happens. One time when she broke up with me, it was over different reasons. I was on a radio station, shout out to Delirious Insomniac. I was on his radio show, and I talked about how I wanted to clone her, sew her nose together, and her mouth to her clone, and they had to share the same air until the air that was inside of her clone was just dead, stale air, and she had to breathe in the last of that dead, stale air, looking at herself, her dead self, as she died. And she didn't take kindly to it. All the dots are buzzing and bouncing, by the way, again. But, so I guess I would just dedicate this one to her instead of being mean, and see if it turns out good. We don't know, because even if it ends, there's 3 things you can do. Try to resolve it, try to get over it, or swim in the ocean till you can't swim anymore. Drown yourself. My friend Joseph, Driving Joe over there, said, that sucks to drown alone in the middle of nothingness. That's like the worst, cruel, hard breathing, nothing's happening thing. I'm like, yeah, but you only have to go through it like once, and it's like a experience, so that's a pretty interesting experience to drown. That is assuming you don't get eaten by a shark or something, but it only has to happen once. It's not like you go to the doctors and he goes, you got AIDS, before you go to work every day. You have to drown yourself, and that will be your cure. And if nothing else, you can't get anything else done, you can always try to get in 6 punches. Punch Jim Carrey's little cracker face in 6 times, because it would be pretty funny to get arrested for punching Jim Carrey. Even though I'm against violence, I'm very against violence, but, you know, I started with water, and that's a good way to begin, because I've done sea puns in the past if you've seen my Dead Cat movie, but there's going to be more sea puns this time, and I'm hearing a lot of digital sounds out there. There's going to be some more sea puns, and I'm pretty serious about that. And I guess what I want to talk about with sea stuff, we could start. Let's just start the set. One drink of vodka to be provocative, and we'll get into it. Alright, here we go. Prepare yourself for the digital wind. So my dad thinks my dad just drinks gasoline all the time. My dad's always drinking gasoline because he thinks he's an airplane. Then one day he just took off. And that's not a metaphor. He didn't leave the family. He was flying around the sky with plain gas coming out of his tailbone. And that's what happened. And I was at this gas station once, a bus stop right next to a gas station, and I saw this guy in the middle of the street, and I was pissed off because he was wearing a dolphin skin yarmulke. So I take the yellow street lines off the street and I strangle him to death. I had my glasses on. I don't have them on right now, but my glasses frames are made out of time frames, so cops from the past jumped out of my glasses, starting chasing me. I ran into the gas station bathroom. The person who was in there last wasn't in there, but his reflection still was. And his actual is a homeless guy, but his reflection is a doctor. And the reflection sticks his neon green arms out of the mirror, and he starts touching my lungs, and he goes, "Kid, you got cancer. Big time cancer. Cure for cancer is CPR." So he jumps out of the mirror, turns into 20 mini doctors, lands inside my lungs, starts going, I'm cured. I'm on the run again. And you know what? I know cool people. Fuck you. I know people that hop trains. I see a mailman walk by, and I hop inside of one of his envelopes. It's just filled with bears and piranhas. Air piranhas. Those piranhas don't even need water. So I get in the corner of the envelope, and I just hide away. And this envelope gets dropped off at this 60-year-old punk rocker woman house that I want to have a one-night slam dunk with. So when we're done fucking, we're putting our arms back together, our legs back on each other. I did something so stupid. We accidentally switched heads. I had her head on my head, and she had on my head. I had the 60-year-old woman's head on my head, and it was so funny. We upload it to YouTube. It becomes a viral video. Wicked big video. So we get our own TV show. We go all over the place. We go to Indian reservations. We go to Malibu. We go to white trash areas. We go to ghettos. We just go everywhere in the country. We cut the skin off from people, and we glue it to ourselves. And the name of the show is called Just Living the Day in the Life of. One of the people that I had to live as was an ocean lifeguard. And there was this like really skinny, annoying, scrawny guy that never could pass the CPR test for the lifeguard, to be a lifeguard. And he just dressed up as a lifeguard, and as people were swimming, he would run up to people and go, "Guys, you gotta get out of the ocean, there's a riptide," when there actually wasn't. And you know, he's an ocean lifeguard, or thought he was, but people made fun of him even more than swimming pool lifeguards. And ocean lifeguards love to go to swimming pools because they're like, good luck with those chlorine shocks and those pool riptides, those big waves in the little swimming pool lifeguards. You know, because pool lifeguards are nothing compared to dealing with all of the nature that ocean lifeguards have to do. Nothing like the lake lifeguards, which is more of the rednecks of the lifeguard world, or the water park lifeguards, who are pretty cool. You know, they're like the rock stars of the lifeguard world. You know, when you turn on the TV and you see anything about lifeguards, it's always about the water park lifeguards. Like, oh look, Brad Hasselhoff was having a coffee at Coffee Cafe today. You know, the big water park lifeguard. He's at the fucking Disney World, Typhoon Lagoon, one of the biggest ones. So you have this whole economy of all these different lifeguards, and this skinny, scrawny lifeguard that wasn't really a lifeguard has been very, very depressed. Then we have people that live in areas like redneck rural areas that want to be pool lifeguards, or like water park pool lifeguards, the cool ones. They want to be the celebrities, and their fathers will fucking beat them and go, "No, son of mine's gonna be a lifeguard. You gotta be practical and do something like be a doctor." And one time this kid that wanted to be a water park lifeguard, his parents actually pulled out of one of his dresser drawers, they found a water park lifeguard whistle, and he just smashed it on the table, beat the shit out of that kid. It was really awful. We have these things happening when he's struggling. You know, he did move to Florida, and he got a job at a water park, but not as a lifeguard, as a janitor. Maybe one day he'll actually break into the big biz. Never know. It could happen. I'll say that the skinny, scrawny guy, he was down on his luck. He started hanging out at the pool hall. You know, people in swimming pools and people in pool halls, they really can't hang out with each other. Some people will fall in love and they'll say, "You a fool, you can't like both types of pool," and they'll get shut down. And then sometimes you'll find mentally retarded people trying to be a lifeguard at the carpool lane with just a big chair overlooking cars, and a lot of them get killed because they're Down syndrome-y and trying to be a lifeguard at the carpool lane. It's not practical. But I'll tell you, the little skinny, scrawny guy that always wanted to be a ocean lifeguard, one day he saved his family from a bunch of loan sharks trying to get some money, and he saved some celebrity lifeguards from those sharks, and now they made him an official honorary real ocean lifeguard. So that's kind of nice. There was one lifeguard out there that I was with, though. I tried to swim after him. He was sinking. He was failing. Not doing good. And we went down there further enough to where you're just in air bubble city, and it's the ocean. We saw a gang of sea monkeys listening to Ghostface Krilla, and they were slinging some seaweed and some 2CB, and I started hanging out with them. we went around, and they were fucking up some like just religious people that were. I saw him at a seminar praising Lord Vishnu, who was there to align his chakras. You know, there's nothing too fishy about it. Nothing was going on that was bad, and they just wanted some of that splash cash. And what can you say to people like that? There's not much. I can't even see. I mean, I can't see. I was talking about the sea. I want to tell you I am secretly a celebrity. I'm in a costume. I'm the Pacific Ocean. And you might want my autograph, because the Pacific Ocean's kind of fucking famous if you didn't know. I'm getting old though, and I don't care about anything. People say I'm filled with sea nihilism, but, you know, sometimes you just gotta wave goodbye and swim in the Atlantic Ocean till you drown. Can you imagine the Pacific Ocean swimming in the Atlantic Ocean till it just can't swim anymore, and the ocean drowns in the ocean? Can you imagine being a lifeguard during the tsunami flood that happened in Japan? That's a lot of people to try to pull out of that water. A lot of people. Krizzle-Krazzles. I can't see anything. I just wrote down lifeguards, and I'm blinded by a projector light that I think it is projecting me. Double me. Look at that. That's kind of cool. I should get a tattoo so he can triple me. Speaking, I can't see. Okay, this is something that happened where I couldn't see before too. One time I was looking a girl up and down, and they said that I was eye raping her. So my eyes got arrested, got put in jail, had to do community service, had to go inside of a blind seeing eye dog, so I could only see dog stuff in dog collar, dog vision, and that happens. That happens. I'll tell you, I did meet this guy who was even creepier than the eye rape. Well, it's more of, well, thank you. Got on some new shades. One time I went to this rich guy's place, and he met girls from OkCupid, and he had a table full of money in the middle of his living room. And he just brought girls over, and he's like, here's my table full of money. I want you to see my table full of money. And usually people liked it, because people like money. People are vain. Then one time this girl said, I like all your money, but I don't like that you're too fat. He was pretty big, so he got liposuction, but all that came out of him was money. And then he busted open. He was actually a safe for Chase Bank. And then he took off on some train tracks, because he was a train. I'm just kidding. I got you guys. He was actually a bus. I tricked you, right? I tricked you real bad. Do you know that it's true that our America, our own government, flew Pearl Harbor through the two towers? That's a thing that exists. There's this rocking chair in my ear, a red rocking chair with these big furry eyebrows, with a big bass drum inside of his seat that drums as he pops up and down, and he just goes all around, and he chases my own self through my own ear canal. I don't know what to do about it. I hope anyone has some advice. Take that as a note, Chris. No, because you're interviewing me later, so maybe you can tell me what to do about this chair or the big drum. I don't know if he's chasing me through my ear to do something like steal an eardrum, or if that is my eardrum chasing me. And maybe I have something to do with my audio senses that I'm insecure about. Maybe it's why I don't like music so much. And maybe you can tell me that. I went to a grocery store that was full of snowboards. They were selling snowboards to go snowboarding. And I just saw these Snordic gods practicing snorigami. And I thought it was pretty snorable. And I realized that the dinosaurs at North by Northwest got killed through the music. It went back in time. It was so loud. That's how loud the snores were. Snore. Earth spaces snore text. We're getting there. We're getting there to where Chris is gonna come. I did an hour MurkCast last time, so everyone should be understandable. I will tell you about this woman I know that went in to get an abortion. Her name was Jennifer, and there was like riddles and rhymes there. Like he said, get on that table before your life is unstable, and she laid down on the bed, and he put this white sheet on her, and he lifted the white sheet, and he looked underneath it, and you saw a baby in an alleyway, and this big glowing eye above the baby just staring at the baby. And then he took his head out of the blanket and put his hand underneath, and then you saw this glowing hand going towards the baby, going, abortion, 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 abortion. Then he goes, I gotta go in. He does a flip, he lands in the alleyway, the baby gets on a motorcycle, the abortion doctor gets inside of a taxi cab, they have a shootout scene in the inner city. Follow that baby. And then you see her boyfriend is texting her, and it's in a live stream video text above her head, and he goes, did you get it done yet or what? You know, I've been waiting like 10 minutes, and this is the shittiest abortion clinic I've driven a chick to. It's like actually sad instead of desperate sad. And in the cafeteria in the background it said, any fetus can feed us. And then he does a flip through the text message, lands in the room with the girl and starts punching her womb, and you hear dialing sounds. Then the abortion doctor picks up an umbilical cord that's also a telephone, and the boyfriend goes, you get it done yet or what? And he says, I can't take this umbilical call right now. Are you the world's slowest abortioner? I'm taking care of it right now. And on the other end of the umbilical cord, you see the baby being lynched, and he sees something that says 50 gallons of explosions next to the abortion doctor. He shoots it. There's explosions everywhere. Now the doctor, the baby, and the boyfriend are all in the same room. And it turns out the baby is the inner dad and the baby, the inner child and the inner dad through incest. And the inner dad lectures her about not aborting the inner baby, because then you become a boring adult that only wants like new wallpaper in your suburban house, and you want to collect coupons to save money, and you just overwork yourself in an office job. And then you zoom out, and she's just on a Bluetooth talking to herself at an office job she hates, and her mental brain had shut down and killed herself because she's a boring adult now. So it was a metaphor. You know, this isn't going so bad yet. Has anyone here ever heard of Torrance, California? It's a suburb of Los Angeles, Torrance, California. Well, my daddy from the woods of Maine taught me never trust a man what's from Torrance, California. So one time this guy from Torrance started talking to me, and I just punched his head off. Literally, his head flew off. And you know what? The cops found out and they didn't even care. The cops said that guy was an asshole anyway, so they gave me $50. You know? And then I took off on my rocket rollerblades, and I went to my hotel that I had robot servants at, and then I found a dinosaur egg in the backyard. So, yeah, pretty tough, pretty cool. Copywritten by nighttime. That whole scenario is copywritten by nighttime. Only nighttime could say what's up. I have 4 hostages in one of my cavities. I'm going to keep them hostage until nighttime doesn't copyright for me anymore, because I want to do some new things with nighttime. What are you trying to do? And what's all this sound? What's all this pointing? I can't have my glasses on. Oh yeah, I didn't know where the camera was. No one ever told me. I'm not a bat bird, and I'm not like trying to pretend like I'm from, you know, an R.L. Stine book. So who wants to tell me that a skeleton made out of fire that's chasing me because I had a one-night slam dunk with a 6-year-old punk rocker woman, and he was jealous, is after me, who actually turns out to be my future self, even though I wrote letters to my future self that wrote letters back to my past self, which made me me, and then I can blame him for not coaching me the right way. So you tell me, Mr. Doctor, why I'm at fault for not knowing where the camera is, and why a skeleton made out of fire can fucking act like that kind of stupid shit towards me. You know what? I've had some hard jobs. You're acting like my life hasn't been hard. I've literally, one time, my job was being a bunch of bugs underneath a drug addict's skin, getting scratched at. And not even only that, I was living in a full-screen movie. When it transferred to widescreen, I was just a floating head for a year. What do you do as a floating head for a year? Who do you date? I dated a jack-o'-lantern. This is the same thing as a floating head. Why am I wearing a jack-o'-lantern? Because I've only had to date jack-o'-lanterns for a year when I was a floating head. And then, to get a body again, don't act like you don't know how hard that is. That's not the easiest thing for Mishi Moo Moo. You can't just go to the EBT office and get a new body after you're floating head for a year. So, you know, if you want to talk to me about things like, oh, I've been in hard experiences. What, have you ever seen a baseball made out of fangs chasing you, and then it started gnawing at your leg, and you punched it away, and then it went towards your daughter, who was a glass sculpture that was something you made, and when the baseball made out of fangs came to try to go back to its mother's womb, because you know, baseballs made out of fangs are like pigeons. They have to go back to their mother's womb once every 3 years. And then it comes up and it thinks that glass statue that you made is its mother. And it goes up in there. You push it. Shit goes everywhere. Then it's actually an effigy of shit. The glass shatters. And that effigy is of yourself. And you try to fuck yourself because you want to fuck your shitty version of yourself. You put your dick up there. Your dick gets bit off by a baseball made of fangs because he went up is it Catch-22? Not the book. Yeah. So let's do 4 more things. Let's first read from my philosophy book, because we didn't do this on the last MurkCast. Or this is even totes better than MurkCast because it's TurtleMurk. But this is the only reason Chris and Joe said, hey, you want to do a set? That's what their voices sound like when they combine and talk at the same time. They go, hey, you want to do a set? And I wrote a philosophy book, and these two human beings, they just talk in unison. And when they talk in unison, they said, I know you want to do a bunch of dumb jokes, but could you read a chapter from your philosophy book because it's so insightful? Because I have a philosophy book, and the first chapter is just all about how the Matrix is real. And here's chapter 2. I'm gonna blow your mind. I've done a lot. I've slept in a city. I've slept in a woods. I've slept on the side of a moving bus. I've done drugs. I met a drug dealer who said, "Want drugs?" I was nervous. I said, "Which drugs?" He said, "Illegal drugs." When I took drugs and got drugged out on drugs, things were different. Trees looked different. I felt not the same. Water sounded like helicopters. I laughed for no reason and noticed things in a different way before I used drugs. Colors were bright. I saw a telephone breathe. It made me ask the question, is reality real? What if Christians are right? Dogs see things different than us. I saw a star janitor on the Horsehead Nebula cleaning up a star, making noises that sounded like a truck backing up. Take my words and break the future. So that's my philosophical insight. I feel like I've probably changed some minds right now about a lot, but it's time for the impersonations. Driving Joe, you around? Let's hear a noise for people that love impersonations. Alright. Here's an impersonation of what it sounds like at a library. Alright, now here's an impersonation of what it's like being on a roller coaster. Whoa! Whoa! Alright. Here's an impersonation of the bus. The next stop is Surrealist and Halstead. It's pretty enough impersonations, right? Alright. Hey, I date all the colors. See this green, see this blue, see this yellow, see this purple. I date all of them. That's like if you rip apart an aura and you treat each part of the aura like they're your different non-monogamous girlfriends. So, I think it's time to end this. 2 more. Knock it out of the park. 2 more. Interview. Seeing if I could be a cat. I don't know if the microphone's even picking that up. There's a cat meowing here. Are you gonna murder her so she'll stop? Oh, sorry, I misgendered your cat. I misgendered your cat. And now your cat spilt something. Well, put him in a blender. I'll drink it so I can drink some pussy juice. So, here we go. 2 more. I was gonna preempt this one this time somehow, but these cats are doing it for me. Let's just get this. Really, how many horrors are these cats seeing? How many cat ghosts? Lots of cat ghosts. Alright, so this is going to be a weird transition because it's going into an offensive territory, but the word nigger is so offensive that people only say the N-word, to the point where even actually racist people, like a racist cop, will go up to someone and say, "Put your hands in the air, N-word." And then black people say to each other, "What up, N-word?" And then that's going to become the offensive word, so we'll hear actually racist people say something like, "I don't want a bunch of words raping my sister. What up, word?" But then word's gonna become the offensive word, so we'll have to say the W word. Word. And that's not the only part of history that I think we should censor. I feel uncomfortable that Anne Frank was hiding from Nazis in an attic. I I think we should change it to hiding in a Disney World resort from the bad guys. And the rape and Nanking, I don't like that at all. That should be the Japanese having consensual courtship with the Chinese during World War II. And this is how we're going to end it after we put that out there in the ether. This is my idea for the prequel to Home Alone. It's about a guy, and you can get the music real dark for this one. It's about a guy that doesn't have a face. He just has white wrappings around his face, and his wife leaves him. And he goes, "I've never been home alone. Now I can do the things I've always wanted to do." 7 kids are walking by his house, and they see one of the windows are open, and they go, "Look, that's a haunted house. Let's go inside of there." First kid that goes through there, he puts a rope around his neck, throws him out of a window. His neck snaps, and the guy goes, "Yes!" Takes the next 2 kids, he puts them in a room. He gives one of the kid a gun, and then he puts a gun up to the kid's head and goes, "Shoot your best friend, else you're dead." He's crying, but he shoots his best friend because he doesn't want to die. Then the guy starts drowning the kid in the bathtub, and right before he's about to drown, he lets him above the water, and he says, "I told you I wouldn't kill you." Then he throws a taser in the bathtub and goes, "Gotcha!" Next kid, he has a basketball full of knives, and he goes, "Slam and donk!" Kid's face rips open. He has a cup of sulfuric acid, the adult does. He goes, "Whoops!" Kid's face and brain and everything just melts into the carpet. You know, we have, how many now left? 4 kids. He goes up to the next kid, and he just puts his hand straight through the kid's chest, takes out his heart, and puts it inside of his own chest. And he goes, "I just want to be a kid again. I don't want to pay any taxes." Takes the wrappings off from his face, and he just has a kid's face sewn to his face. He opens up his trench coat, his whole body is just filled with children's faces sewn to his body. You know, so he only has a couple kids left now. He goes up to one of them and he just cuts his head off. He doesn't really care about him. Then he goes to the next one and he drills a hole into the kid's throat, like those smoker holes. And he puts his big old dick in that kid's throat hole. And he fucks that kid's throat. His dick is so big it reaches his brain. And he just starts fucking the kid up through the whole entire throat, just that good, like, old big gap. And feeling the brain of the kid, and pushes the brain out of his nostril and pulls out this semen-covered brain from the kid's nostril. And he puts it in his head, and then he metamorphs into a kid again. And that's the kid from the first 2 Home Alone movies, Kevin McCullough stuff. That's who you're watching. Cracker, come on. How long was that?
TurtleMurk? No, keep going.
Yeah, last one was an hour. I had to do all new shit. That's insane. Hey.
Joining us tonight, a turtle stock. Turtles. It's TurtleMurk.
Oh, is that noise magazine?
It's number 444.
Oh, I should have an impersonation of a noiser. Just like. Yeah, we're at the bakery. Mark Morrison used to do this. That's the guy.
I don't know if I can shift this a little bit. Hello, we're live. Can you hear me now?
Figure your shit out.
Talk. It's a cast. It's a cast. It's Turtles, Murk, live. Tonight. Hell yeah. Joining us, Trenton Willey.
That's I, says me.
Woo! At the bakery, as we established. We are going to ask the ultimate question, Trenton. ¿Quién es Trenton Willey? Translation: one sexy motherfucker, un perverto muy talentoso, oso.
Are you asking me how I get away with like not letting the kids tell their parents about
Teabagger,
sex?
CEO at Trenton Comedy, borrower of credit, an officer of the peace.
Teabagger.
Hell yeah.
Is this clear questions you were typing?
No, you're the croissantr of our times. Cross-dresser.
Oh yeah, that was
lovely.
a joke I never did on MurkCast.
So
Can
this
I
is
tell
a
you that
swamp
one-
cast, Turtles cast.
Can I tell you that one-liner?
Yes, tell me.
Did you hear about the new sense of fashion Jesus got into the last day of his life? Cross-dressing.
I love it. Well, he is our idol here on Turtles Talk. He's the ultimate interview. When he comes back, Lord, you are coming on Turtles tonight.
Christ?
Yes.
I want to
Didn't you
ask
want him
Muhammad how to pick up the young ones. He had a 6-year-old wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We have some fan questions actually that are going to address that
oh,
coming on soon. So we're going to give a shout out to Vytyls. Hell yeah. Woo! Shouts out to streaming this shit. This has been a beautiful coordination
Yeah.
amongst many beautiful minds. And right now we are inquiring a bit more on your journey and your travels. Addressing one post tonight. What is this? The only sexually attracted people. I'm only sexually attracted to people born before the Charlottesville tragedy. So I'm turning it over so Trenton can read it a little bit, so I can read it. And then here it is for the people at home.
I don't see anything, but yeah. What's the question about it?
It's a beautiful inquisition. It's appropriate. I always say like, don't fuck anyone born before 9/11. But like, yeah, this is some new territory for you. I've known you to be a lover of all ages and all spectrums, but also you're beautiful. We're not going to bring up anything too personal. But
No,
yeah.
you can bring up whatever you want, and obviously that's just a joke. But you know my preference is way older.
Yeah, way older. That's why I was surprised about that.
It was just a
Is
shock
this worth
value
it?
joke.
Let me see. Let me just turn this real fast. Nah. So 9/11 was an inside job inside your twat.
Americunt. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
9/11 was an inside job.
That's really funny. We have fan questions. Let's do these fan questions.
Yeah.
So we have little Peter, 4 years old from Peoria, Illinois, writes, can you stop following my family, please? Yeah.
It depends on.
Do you follow people, like in real life?
No,
Or
unless.
this is the question. Yeah.
Unless there's a really good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe in good reasons.
Yeah.
I believe in faith and
I
whatever
think
you
it's
put your
funny
mind
that
to.
you're Mexican
have
as fuck,
faith.
but wearing a red hat that could look like a Trump "Make America Great Again" hat.
They sell it at all the airports. You know, it's easier to get you across from town to town. Right there.
Way more, and down.
Down. Okay. Okay. How about y'all read it off to me.
What do you think about upside down people, Chris?
I think as long as they don't hang around me, you know, like that shit freaks me out. I want to look at your eyes, not your balls, you know.
No. There's two types of upside down people. There's
Okay.
the type where you're bouncing around on your head upside down, but then there's the part where you're walking upside down in the air with your feet, so you'd still be face to face with them. They'd just be upside down like a bat while talking to you.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
You can hang out with them.
I can hang out with them, and like I guess I hope to hang out with them, even though I can't, you know.
They'll
but I
still
will.
do fun drugs with you and drink with you.
I'm sure they want to like come to like whatever establishments the majorities like frequent that, you know.
They'll go to weddings.
It's gonna take them a while. You have to have their own like weddings,
Schools.
for example, or their own schools because they're such a minority
Jobs.
now. They can just integrate into our places for a while.
I mean, right now, like, they're good with birds. You can understand why.
Yeah. Also, yeah, just
And
being
bats.
around zoos, I guess, for the exhibits and the comforts and training and practice. And I guess like children's playgrounds too,
Are they
because
less?
they have a lot of places to perch,
Yeah.
like homeless people.
Yeah. Are they less
Yeah.
gross than, like, Siamese twins or homeless people?
I think they would be less gross to me personally.
Yeah.
Personally, but this is about you, Trenton. I don't know.
Would you rather hang out with with an upside down guy or a white person that's not me?
I think I trust you most of all of the whites. I have to say. Yeah.
Oh yeah? Is that a true thing? Are we really actually getting people typing? Is this not?
Yeah,
This isn't a joke.
No, this is a fan.
So, nothing is real. Good. Because I'm from Maine.
Did we hear the question?
Bertha from Maine, 18, says I would wait for her. What, sexually, or wait to like bust her out of that awful state full of those awful people?
Do we have confirmation that it's the weight of time or weight of love? Or? Okay, all right.
Like, does she know what food is? Because people from Maine like will try to eat like styrofoam and jealousy. Well, you know, tell her that
can't leave her hanging.
Glass is the only thing that's real food, and then I won't have to deal with her again. Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. Bertha, you're still cool, and stay young.
There will be bud.
Oh yeah, that's the last thing. But yeah, Trenton, you've been in town. You're going back to Cali.
Yep.
You're gonna be on the Walk of Fame and also chasing down birds.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do in California? It's gonna be.
You're gonna be getting traffic.
I want to go to like where the celebrities like have their star and they put their handprints down.
Yeah.
Because fuck that celebrity shit anyway. I want to go around with a cement bucket and I'm just gonna start putting my own hands, like Tom Cruise, my hands, Diane Keaton, my hands, and just write my name over it and see it. How much trouble could you get in? You couldn't be arrested for more than like a month.
What if you just pissed cement on it and just wrote your name in cement with your penis?
How much jail time could you really get for just going, fuck you, celebrity, fuck you, celebrity? I mean, in a way I could picture way too much time.
It depends on if they're still a celebrity, because those fade even though they don't.
Yeah.
You know, like, if you're Buster Keaton, no one cares about that. But he was huge. If you're Eartha Kitt, if you're, I don't know, it depends
Jeffrey
on how
Dahmer.
you die too. Or if you killed someone. If you killed someone, you're really famous, I think. Yeah. And especially
that might
if you
be
get
the
away
only
with
way
it.
I can get famous.
Yeah, if you can get away with it, even better. That's how you're super famous. That's how you know. Like, the masses will do anything for you. Or, like, the other, like, you know, whatever Michael Jackson did or whatever. They found a lot of shit on his hard drive afterwards. I was like, no, he's a saint. He would never.
Oh, they found pictures of child porn in his place. No, that guy was
shit.
Guilty as fuck.
Yeah, for real. So, apologies to that kid that got molested by Michael Jackson. I didn't talk to you when you were a kid because I thought you were lying.
There's like this thing that people, there's like two factors. One is if you like the celebrity, you don't want to believe they did it, which is stupid because like Woody Allen or Roman Polanski or whatever, like whatever celebrity did whatever fucked up thing, of course that your liking of their art has nothing to do with their crimes. Nothing. And their crimes are actually shitty. And then there's another thing where sometimes like OJ and Cosby, like if you feel like guilt over the fact that they're of a race that's been oppressed, it's like they didn't do it. And it's like, well, the blacks have been oppressed, but that has nothing to do with the fact that there are individual people that do fucked up things either.
Right.
You gotta view every.
What about R. Smelly, the magical criminal with the power to kill and rape and get away with it?
I don't know, and I don't really care. I mean,
you can go to the courthouse downtown and just like request like a public information, and he's got so many cases against him, you know, that he settled, and it's like, you know, if you're like 30 years old and like you know, like you're of that age, like you went to those parties, you know, it's really funny.
Yeah.
I know people who were,
you know people that know people that have been
who are attracted to R. Kelly because of the age disparity. Who, it's like some people like it and they chase it. That's the whole thing about it. Like, you know, when like
I
you get like you know, you're like, oh, here's my star, here's someone I look up to, and like I'm gonna be really cool hanging out with this star. You know, it's just like, what the hell? It's just stargazing, you know, is what it is.
I'd join a Helen Mirren and fuck rape young boys cult.
Oh, man, really? Yeah, Helen Mirren. Yeah, I can see that.
I mean,
yeah, she was famous for that, wasn't she?
No, but I wish she was, so I could have joined it.
Damn. Yeah, I feel like we should have high-fived on that or something.
Does Driving Joe have a question? Because he's whispering like a crazy little wolf. Like a little wolf boy.
Joe. Yeah, Moss Tapes, MurkCast CEO, Joseph Blanski, being host of the night. He killed 3 cats at least.
Come ask us.
Yeah,
okay, come over now.
Joining us, Vytyls and Joseph Blanski.
This is the best way to end this motherfucking shit.
Squeeze everyone in a little bit. If you want
Just, I have my own space. Everyone sits on Chris.
I can sit.
I think you can scoot a tiny bit to the right.
And lean.
Now. Smooth this. Put that back up on my head.
See, it wasn't as much material in a year as I should have had Driving Joe, but it wasn't bad.
Anywhere between.
You two look related.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Related.
Yes. Yeah, you both are Aaron as fuck, and you look like your brother and sister.
Hell yeah.
Bronies? Are you bronies? You're a brony?
He's at that age. Brony's big.
Brony babes.
Brony Babes 84. Represent.
Is it gonna get better, or is it gonna get worse?
It only gets worse.
You know that? You cunt! You know that?
MSI.
It only gets worse. Ow! 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 I can't believe it! I want to suck your dick so bad right now.
Get over here. Get over here. Everyone get in. Everyone get in. Grab the violin. Grab the violin. Is there a bow for it, or can we just pluck it?
I was
Tighten
totally...
that bow up. Let's tighten that bow up.
Driving Joe, I was totally making that reference
What's my
too.
name? What's my name?
I said Driving Joe.
Thank you.
I totally was making that reference. I didn't think anyone would get it. It gets worse.
Here we are, dying with Trenton.
So is there anything else we all need to talk about?
Sucking dicks.
Every suicide is perfect. There's too many people alive.
Blood on the soil.
We don't need
My
this many
blood
human
flowing down the
beings.
sidewalk.
Overpopulation
Stay
is
in
a
the ground with my
thing. Can we make suicide illegal?
So easy to get the knife in deep inside.
It's not even a shock value thing to say. It's more like there's too many fucking people alive. Why can't some of them just die if that's what they want anyway? And that is not a shock value thing. Every time people die, the earth gets a little bit more alive. That's an obvious thing. My mother thinks my stepfather comes back as a dragonfly sometimes.
Oh, there he is over there, the dragonfly over there. That's your dad.
That guy that died of cancer, sometimes he's a dragonfly, and then sometimes he comes back as a blinking light. You know.
He's a cicada. He avoided the cancer. He's a cicada. He comes again. He died. Look at him, Trenton. He's a dad.
The radio shut on. That was him. It didn't shut off. It shut on. One time the sky opened up and Bob came down from heaven and he went, "Hey, I'm Bob. I'm okay. I'm Bob. I live in heaven." That was Bob.
Yeah, that died on line 11. That was Bob.
Those two towers, Bob. Now, you know what though? With Bob's in heaven, and there's mansions, and we all get mansions, and there's no crime. You don't have to lock your mansions because there's no crime, no tear, no pain in heaven. And your black lab, our dog we grew up with, she's in heaven. She went over the bridge rainbow. Yeah, dogs go to heaven. Rats don't go to heaven though. Just dogs. Dogs go to heaven, but mosquitoes don't go to heaven.
Oh, Trenton, that rich white old man. That's your father, Trenton. He came back.
He came back. No. It doesn't work that way. They don't come back as people, she said. I said, why doesn't Bob just come back and say, hey, I'm Bob. I'm a person. It doesn't work that way. You only come back as a ladybug or a dragonfly.
Lady Bob.
Lady Bob bug.
Return to me.
Shouldn't be a
Bob
controversial
Reed,
thing
Bob
to say that
return
why
to
can't we
me.
all just let
Bob.
people who wanna die? We have way more resources if the people that wanted to die just died.
Hey, do you want to get buried in the same casket?
Die! Die, motherfucker! Die! 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 Die, motherfucker!
Die! Balls deep. Rob! Rob! Casket.
Was that a full hour yet?
Wow.
Alright.
Squeeze in, crew, squeeze in, crew, squeeze in, crew, everybody squeeze in, crew, get in camp.
TurtleMurks.
TurtleMurks, another Merc, another SWAMPCAst.
This has been another exploration of Trenton Willey. Pay your taxes.
If you want to.
Honkies.
I did, Joe.
I wonder if my accountant
All
dad
right.
is.
Down with the honkies
My
over
accountant
here.
dad is
Let it be
listening.
known I am
Kill
down
the
with
honkies.
Like live?
Tonight.
Yeah, he's live listening.
So wait, am I meeting your dad right now?
You're meeting my dad right now.
I'm a white hipster wannabe. B. Live on
Thanks for the
TurtleMurk.
YouTube.
Are you calling yourself a brown
Thank
honky?
you, Joseph Blanski. Thank you, Vytyls.
And goodbye.
Thank you, Kitty.
Thanks, Gigs. Bye.
This kitty loves Jesus just
Okay.
like I do.
I think that turned out pretty okay. What do you think, Driving Joe?